You look at the note that a servant has just handed to you. It's from Melchior. My latest calculations suggest that we should not delay any further. We must begin our journey tonight. Summon Gaspar immediately and meet me on the terrace. Wise old Melchior. Technically he's not your superior, you're both magi in the royal council, representing the Babylonian vassal state. And you don't know whether you consider him a friend, either. But he always knows best, so you set off towards Gaspar's chamber immediately. Press space to continue.
Alright, so we've started the game. Unlike the previous game, the Bible Retold, the Bread and the Fishes, this game is not being played on Windows Frauds, but a different interpreter, a different text adventure emulator called Glux, Glulxe, Glux interpreter. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Available for free on the internet, and it's totally free, it's totally safe. And we have our friendly retro digital voice reader, AI voice reader, reading the game for us, so we don't have to read every single paragraph in the game, which is going to be an amazing rest for my throat. I won't have to pretend like I'm in Shakespearean Stratford Festival Theatre, but I can just let the game talk for me as far as the game story. So again, we play as Melchior, one of the three magi, or the astrologers in the court of Babylon, and we have to travel to in this beginning of the game, we have to travel towards Gaspar's chamber immediately. Who is Gaspar? Summon Gaspar immediately and meet me in the terrace. Wise old Melchior. Technically, he's not your superior. You're both magi in the royal council, representing the Babylonian vassal state. So let's go. Let's head on to the next level. We'll see how far we can go. And
The Bible Retold. Following a Star. A light-hearted adaptation of favorite Bible stories. By Justin Morgan. Please type about for help and information. Release 2/serial number 034107/inform v6.31 Library 6/11. OR Library Release 1.3c, June 8, 2004. Gaspar opens the door. Balthasar. How nice to see you. Do come in. Gaspar's chamber. Gaspar doesn't live in Babylon, he's from a far eastern state of the Parthian Empire, and Melchior invited him here. As such, Gaspar's lodgings, though fit for someone of his standing, are not as large and lavish as those for permanent residents like you. There's a bed in one corner of the room, and at the foot of it is a pile of clothes and a rather large sword. Against the opposite wall is Gaspar's desk, which has a map and several overturned goblets on it. A door to the balcony is to the west. About. Please use the commands, intro, credits, special commands, topics, amusing and hint for specific information. Type amusing gen for non-context specific amusing things. There is some gentle advice for ifcomp judges available by typing about ifcomp. Please send feedback to feedback@corfis.com. Amusing gen. You can type amusing to see amusing things to try during the particular part of the game you're currently in. Amusing gen gives things you can try anywhere. Many of them are perfectly alright to try without having completed the game, and some you may have already stumbled upon yourself. There will also be others not listed. But heed the warning, spoilers may be found here if you go through too many options. If you don't want your game experience to be potentially spoiled, then use only the special commands section to get ideas about what sort of commands generate funny responses. If you imagine that you've already solved most of the puzzles in a particular area, then it may be a good idea to take a look at some of the amusing items, because you might not get another opportunity. hint. Type hint object for hints related to that object. Typing it repeatedly will give progressively more obvious hints until full spoilers are revealed. Type hints off at any time to disable hints completely for the rest of the session. Save. OK. West. You open the door and the two of you walk out onto the balcony. You walk past the hanging gardens and come up to the terrace that Melchior was referring to. Outside the palace. You stand on the terrace of the great palace, gazing out at the night sky, with your friends and colleagues, Gaspar and Melchior. Here, in Babylon, on the western frontier of the Parthian Empire, you understand much about the movements of celestial objects. This night, however, there is an anomalous star, shining very brightly in the west. Regard, says Melchior as excitedly as he knows how, which is to say, in a very blunt and calm voice. A bright star is shining from the west. I see it, says Gaspar. It is magnificent. And they promptly stop to stare at it intently. Yes, yes, says Melchior sagely, nodding his head and keeping his eyes quite transfixed upon the bright object. I am convinced of the meaning behind this star. Save. OK.
VGO. Text Adventure Fanatic.